Alright guys, so we're here with Mags, Cuts by Mags on Instagram. It's been a while since he's had a haircut, so we're gonna bring him back to life. The way I start all my haircuts is I dampen the hair a little bit and kind of comb the hair in the direction that it wants to go. So we're just going in with our 3, making this rough draft here. Now I'm kind of staying below his parietal ridge, is right about here. So I'm staying below that so we give ourselves some room to blend, kind of even everything out here. We're gonna go skin tight. So I know, like when I go skin tight, as long as I have 2 fingers width, I know I can blend that out without chasing my guidelines higher. So I'll go 2 fingers width. I'm gonna come in here, make this bald line, and kind of have it follow the base that I already made here. So now we're just gonna go with our shaver right up to that line. If you're not sure how to get a shaver line out, I always say, leave a little bit more room. But I've cut Mags' hair before, so I know once I go back in with my open clipper, in the process of getting out this bottom line, I'll get out whatever shaver line's left over. Gonna go open clipper, so the clipper lever all the way open. I'm gonna go up about 1 inch. Now as I'm doing this, obviously I'm flicking out a little bit so this line on top isn't super heavy. There's no right or wrong way to do this. Some people make super hard lines, and that's okay if you know how to get them out. This just makes it a little bit easier for me. So now I'm gonna go through, do this on the other side. So I went in with my 3, cleaned everything up, my trimmer, shaved below it. This is an open clipper. Now I'm gonna go in with my 1.5. And I'm gonna go right underneath where that number 3 was, which what that's doing is that's softening this line right here, this top line. So it's just gonna make it a hell of a lot easier for me to blend out when I need to. Now remember, the top of the teeth isn't where your line is. This isn't what's creating the line, it's right in there, the cutting teeth. So we're gonna go in with my 1.5. And again, you guys can kind of see the way I'm coming off the head. I'm not going up and into the head, I'm coming out and away. So now I know I have my 3 followed by my 1.5. This is my open line, this is my trimmer and my shaver line. So I know that if I take my half guard and come in here, I should be able to clean that up and clean up this trimmer line, no problem. We're gonna start with this trimmer line. I'm gonna go in here with the lever all the way closed. So there you can see this line is pretty much gone. There's a little bit right in here. Now that's no big deal because I'll just go back in with my trimmers, just using the teeth and kind of soften that line up a little bit right there. Go back in with my half guard. All right. And I'm just gonna come in here, and again, I'm working straight off the head, not going up and in, not digging into his head. I'm just going as if his head is a flat wall. So you can see just by that open clipper, this line is slowly starting to disappear. So I'm going to just go in right here. I'm just using the corners here of my teeth, corners of my blade here to soften this line. Now we'll close it up a little bit, kind of work our way over here. So you can see this line is slowly starting to come out. So now I'm about halfway closed. I'm just using this last tooth here to soften everything up. So now we're going to go, you can see these lines kind of coming out slowly. We're just going to go right in here with that one closed and just use the corner of that one closed guard. Kind of soften what's left over here. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a section off the top of the head down towards the corner here, and I'm only going to take the hair that wants to come this way. I'm not going to over direct any of the hair, any of his hair that wants to grow, that way. I'm not even going to touch it. So you can see, if I tilt him this way, you can see there's a nice clean section here. So I'm going to take this hair and we're going to slowly take our sections and kind of remove this weight. So we're going to take our sections right now. The lower you bring this, the longer you're going to leave this hair. You want to bring this hair kind of up, which is going to be, your box graduation, which is going to create that nice square silhouette. And then what that's going to do is remove some of this weight that's coming down and casting this line here. So we're going to take this section, pull it straight out, cut that. We're going to do the same thing over here. Now we're following our guide all the way through. So you guys can see this top guide coming all the way through. Now when you get to the ear, what you want to do is you want to over direct backwards towards the ear, especially if you're going to wear a style that's longer in the front, because if you keep wrapping around the front, you're going to have no hair here to style. So what we're going to do is we're going to wrap this, pull this hair, over direct our fingers out, and just get those extra pieces here. So now you guys can see how quickly that erased that line there. So now most of his haircut, I didn't do the other side, but most of that fade is done. That fade is clean. I'm gonna go back in and refine it with my scissors. You can see some of these little lines here. So we're gonna go in, just scissor over comb. We're using the fine end of our comb, and we're just gonna go in and just clean up this. Now what I'm doing is I'm keeping my cutting blade, my steel blade, parallel to the spine of the comb here. So we'll go in and kind of refine that a little bit. You can see how nice this contour is, how nice this blend looks. So now, it's just a little bit excess here in the front. We're just gonna scissor over comb. Now, when you're scissor over combing, you wanna do kind of the same thing you were doing with your clippers. You're working not up and in, you're working up and out, straight up. And if you need to, if you realize that that's not doing the trick for you, simply just go back in. Maybe just go a little bit more with the curvature of the head, the round of the head here. So now you can see how we're looking on this rough draft. So that's just the rough cut. So now I'm going to go through on the other side, do everything we did on this side, and then I'll come back and show you guys when it's dry and how we're going to detail it and make sure it looks perfect. Alright guys, so we're going to cut the top of his hair now. So he likes it short and kind of messy, like a textured look. So you want to come through here now. The problem that people make with haircuts is they round this way. So if he puts his hair up, it's going to create this kind of shape for the top of his head. So what you want to do is, what I like to do is I like to find the point on his head. Now if I pull this way and I pull everything else this way, it's going to round. So I want to pull this hair straight up because that's how he's going to be styling it. So we're going to pull this hair straight up. We're going to make our cut here, and then we're going to continue back, matching this with our guide. Now what I'm doing, I'm pulling all these hairs, so you can see here, I'm pulling all these hairs straight up. So as we go back, we're following this guide here in the middle. So you can see here, here's my guide. We're following it straight back. So now if I lift all these hairs up, you guys can kind of see what I mean here. Now we have a nice even cut. So now I could do this two ways. I could follow this guide side to side, or I could come back and follow it with horizontal sections. So I'm going to follow it with horizontal sections here. Now we're going to keep a square shape. So instead of me pulling my fingers up and rounding to the side of his head, we're pulling my fingers up and pulling them straight across. So now what that's going to do is that's going to fill in this corner here where his head sticks out here and then his head sticks out here. Keeping this hair longer is going to fill in that corner, giving him a more square shape, which on most men is more flattering. So now, a lot of times as barbers, so say we take this section and we come up here, right? Take this chunk of hair, and we can only get this hair to come up. That's okay, like let that hair fall, and you don't have to cut it. So we're gonna go in here. I'm just gonna start point cutting. And you can see some of these other hairs won't reach, so I'm just not cutting them. So I'm going in here again. My guide is right here. Point cutting this back section. Now you can see, looking at the top of his head, there's no cut lines. You know, you're not seeing those chop marks like you would if I cut straight across. You're not going to see any harsh chop marks. So right here what we're doing is we're creating elevation on the front hairline. We're pulling the fringe down at 0 elevation, and then we're slowly going to graduate it back towards the top of the head. And what this is going to do is this is going to create some structure in the beginning of the hairline and the fringe of the hairline, which is going to, as he wears his hair up, it's going to make the hair in the front a little bit shorter than everything else, kind of supporting it, making it stand up a little bit more naturally on your own. As I'm pointing out here, you can see the front is more supporting towards the back of the hairline. So now we're just going to go through and do that again and match the fringe up with the top, and you'll see how much easier the front of the hairline supports the hair on top. So now I'm just diffusing some textured paste I put in there to give him that final look. Alright guys, so there it is. There's the final product. We're going to leave the underside of his beard and the back of his beard a lot more natural. I hope you guys learned something. If there's anything else you guys want to see, drop a comment below and let me know. I definitely plan on posting a lot more. This is kind of a trial experience for me, so I hope this helps, and thanks for watching.